Welcome to a Skyrim Addict podcast where I will discuss my adventures and misadventures through Skyrim. Join me. Add your stories, add your tales. Let's get into this thing. Hello. Welcome back. Episode... I gotta stop saying what episode because I always forget. Episode of Skyrim Addict podcast. So I've been continuing on with my Conjurer from the Necromancer season of Skyrim Roundtable, season of the Necromancer. So I continue with that character. I'm now up to, I believe I was last time as well when I was saying I can conjure 4 things at once. And I also have Lydia with me, and she has double staffs. And one of those is a Frost Atronach staff. I also have a dog from Worm's Tooth, a large dog, more like a wolfish dog. It's really like a big dog. Doesn't look like the wolves in Skyrim. It's a bigger, angrier dog. But so I have them two. I have the 4 things I conjure, the thing that Lydia conjures. And if I happen to conjure some dragon priests, they also conjure a bunch of stuff. So, yeah, it gets a little hairy in some tight areas. When you're... Because right now, obviously, I'm going through the Dark Brotherhood. That's where I was. Let's see. Last week, I left off on the Dark Brotherhood around... I forget where it was. I think I had already met Armando Motier, and he let me know about the quest to kill the Emperor, or the job to kill the Emperor, sorry. So I went off and headed back and let Astrid know about that. So this time I played it a little differently than I normally do. Normally I kill Cicero, but the more and more I think about it, I'm like, yeah, really Astrid's the terrible one here. Look, he's really annoying and not necessarily a great person, but we are the Dark Brotherhood, not like there's a whole lot of good people hanging around. So it's like, yeah, I'm going to go a different way this time. I'm going to let Cicero live. So you get back, there's maybe a little out of order. I mean, I generally remember the order. I've played the quest a multitude of times. There's obviously the argument. Everybody thinks he's crazy. Then they find out you're the listener. In the meantime, you're going back and forth doing some other quests. You have to kill... After you find out about the Emperor assassination that you have to do, you have to go kill... or you can kill the guard's son, Morrow. And you can also then plant an incriminating letter on him, which I did. These things are all way messier for me this time. Usually I do them super neat, super clean. I'm sneaking up with double daggers. I'm invisible. I'm muffled. I'm, half a town away and hit them with an arrow in the back of the head. Usually it's just really, really simple. When you're rolling with an entire army, it's not as clean and simple. So I've tried to do it as discreetly as possible, and I've run into some issues. Getting Morrow's son, I was in Markarth, where I met up with him in Understone Keep. Wait, is that where? Or am I thinking? I met up with him in Markarth, I believe. Him and the chef, or not the chef. Yeah, the cook. Yeah, him and the cook there. I actually met there. That's weird. I did them both there, didn't I? Usually Morrow I do somewhere else. I'm trying to remember where I got him. Maybe I'm confusing the two. Let me think. I hid. I threw Fury. And then I put the letter on him. Yes. Morrow I got after he left. I'm sorry. After he left Understone Keep. I get confused because you also have to get Understone Keep to... It's Understone Keep, right? You have to go there to... for the quest for the gourmet. And that's where you find out who the, you start to track down the gourmet and you have to kill the person you find out from. And it happens in the same place. So I met him over there and then followed him out. And on one of the staircases. I think he was heading up to the barracks area to go to sleep, which is at that top, at the very top in the middle there. So I ended up throwing Fury at him and some other stuff. And finally I got something to work, and my people killed him. But I think I got in a little trouble and had to pay off the guards, but I just paid them off, so that was cool. So I took care of that. That allowed me to continue on in that quest. I found out I had to find out who the gourmet was to get into the palace, Castle Duar. So I did that. I went there. I obviously killed that guy in a similar fashion. Not the gourmet, not the orc living at the inn there, Nightgate Inn. I killed the person you find out from in Understone Keep. I killed him by hitting him with Fury and letting everybody kill him. That one went pretty clean. I don't think anybody saw me, so that one went pretty clean. But again, when you're running around with so many people, really hard to be stealthy. So it's way, way different for me. I don't have any armor on, so if I get hit one time, I'm dead. I'm playing on Legendary. One little nick with a blade, and I am pretty much dead. So I try and stay out of the way a lot. That's why I have my army with me. So I take care of all that, and then I head off. You find out something. You talk to Astrid, of course, blah, 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 back and forth. Head to the Nightgate Inn, and the orc's still in the basement, so I got to hang out until he's outside on the dock. And then I blast him with double fireballs, and he flies completely across the lake, missing where he's supposed to fall in. So I have to go to the other side of the lake, get his lake invitation thing out of his pocket, and drag him swimming to the middle of the lake so I can get the little extra, for putting him in the right place. My fireballs just blew him straight across, off the dock, straight across the water to the other side. So that was that. I really need to, I don't know. They were powerful. I don't know. Sorry. My magic was strong. So I head to Duar, to the castle. They let me in. I actually already have a chef's hat because I took it from the guy in Understone Keep, and I wore that and some clothes, and I didn't have to put any on when I got in there. Normally when you get in the kitchen, I think her name is Gianna. You meet Gianna in the kitchen, and you have to tell her what ingredients to use, and Astrid gives you a root, Jared root or something like that. Jared root, something. Jared, I forget. You have to use that to poison the dish, and that kills who you think is going to be the Emperor. So I go there, do that. I'm already wearing my gear, so I don't have to change into chef's gear because I already had chef's gear that I took off that guy. And I'm thinking about enchanting that hat. That would be pretty awesome. I could do 3 enchantments on it. I still have that available to me. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm thinking, because here's where I am at right now. I have I'm wearing the Archmage's robes, which have triple enchantment on it. I have the ability to do one item as a 3 enchantment item because of Ordinator. So really, right now, I have the robes that have 3 enchantments, which count as robes and a hood. Now, they're decent enchantments. I forget what they are exactly, but they're pretty good. But if I do plain robes and a separate hood, or, whatever, hat, chef's hat, clothes and a chef's hat, just saying, I could do double enchantments on the clothes and then 3 enchantments on the hat, which give me 5 different enchantments for that same set of items. So I gotta look down. I gotta look at it and consider that. I may have to do that. I don't know. We'll see. So anyway, I do that. I run out the side door, and Myra's waiting there for you. So I hit everybody with a Fusro Da, and they go flying all over the place, and I just take off. But unfortunately, in the meantime, I made a mistake, and I conjured up a bunch of Dramar Lords, as I want to do, and they, I guess, killed some people, and now I have like a 1,500 bounty in Solitude, which I can't pay off right now. So I ran into some issues there when I had to travel back up that way later on. So anyway, I get done all that, and then you have a little monologue or a little dialogue with Morrow, and he's like, ha ha ha, they sold you out, blah, 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 but we're going to go kill them anyway, talking about Dark Brotherhood. So you're like, oh, crap, you got to get all the way back there. You get back there. There's a raging battle going on at the Dark Brotherhood Sanctuary. There's one of the people is up against a tree full of arrows. So the gang and I arrive, and let me tell you, fighting through the Dark Brotherhood with 7, 8 people in tow is not real easy. So I work my way through. Oh, you know what? Did I skip over the... Oh, I know where I left off. I'll get back to that. This Cicero thing's kind of separate anyway. This was after Cicero's banished and all that. But anyway, so I'm fighting my way through there. And I just get stuck all over the place because there's so many beings around. But eventually get my way through there and hide in the Dark Mother's... the Dark Mother. I hide... the Night Mother, the Dark Mother. Hide in the Night Mother's casket. And, they get me out of there. Nazir and Babette, I believe, get me out of there, and we end up, after everything, all the fires and all are put out, find Astrid in this other room, and she's performed the Dark Sacrament on herself, and then I have to kill her, and she wants me to finish the job and kill... the Emperor. Sorry. So I'm going to finish kill the Emperor. And she admits everything was all her fault, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, yeah, where I'd left off was I was about to meet up with Cicero in the Dawnstar Dark Brotherhood Sanctuary where he had went off to, and where you can either kill him or leave him there. And I ended up leaving him there. And even that battle was a bit wonky for me with all the people again, because you have to fight the ghost warriors as you're going through. And, it was tough. Because I would be going ahead a little bit, because if, until I got in the room, they wouldn't pop out. So, but then if I got hit one time, I was dead. So it was just it was a tough situation for me, the way I was playing it. But, anyway, so we find out about that. I go meet Motier again, and we find out where the real Emperor is and where Morrow is. So I got to head back up to Solitude. There's a ship, the Carlia, I believe, off the coast there, and Morrow's on the docks. He was tough to kill a little bit. I tried doing it from across the water with a little Fury spell and stuff, but that didn't work out so well. Because I tried fast traveling to the stables right there, Solitude Stables. But every time I did, I would get arrested, and I don't want to lose any stuff. So I fast traveled across the way. Set off some Fury spells and stuff, and conjured some people over there, or Dramar Lords and stuff over there, and was able to get them eventually, so that was cool. Then swam over to the Carlia. I wasn't sure if the dog and Lydia would be coming with me. Apparently, yes. Yes, they are. So all of us board the ship, and normally I sneak through there. Maybe I'll snipe someone, but I normally go through pretty quietly. It was a bloodbath. I just conjured everybody, and we just rolled through there, and there was just bodies everywhere. We killed all the sailors, we killed all the Pentus Oculitis, and then made it to... It was a different way. I definitely had never done it that way before. This was more of a rampage than it was any kind of assassination. So I go in and I meet up with the Emperor, and we are talking, and he's like, before you kill me, I need you to do one thing for me, okay? I need you to kill the man who ordered this. And I was like, okay, I'll consider that. You seem like a nice fellow. So then I killed him. He has great clothes. I even consider putting the triple enchantment on the Emperor's clothes, because that would be awesome too. So eventually we escape the ship after we pretty much annihilate everybody and head back to meet up with Motier in Whiterun. He's at the... oh my god, I just drew a blank on the damn bar's name. Oh my god. Oh my god, I can't think of it. I know... I'm not gonna try. Anyway, I meet up with him in the... this is ridiculous. Oh my god, Bernard Mayer. And I take his money. Well, I find out where he has this money over in the crypt over there. And I'm like, all right, I got to kill you, but I got a problem. I got 2 other people with me, and it's daytime, and I have nothing into like one-handed or anything like that. So when I hit him, he doesn't just die. So even if I'm sneaking and I hit him, he doesn't just die because I have no points into that. I have no perks in that way. Everything is into magic. And if I throw off some magic blast, everybody's going to know. And people are coming in and out the goddamn door. I keep shutting the door. Somebody keeps walking through. Eventually, I tell the dog and Lydia to stay by the front door of the Bannermere. And I go back there, and I stand on the bed across the room until I'm in the corner and I'm hidden. And then I hit him with a fury spell, and he just stands there. And there's somebody sitting in his chair for some reason, and he's standing up right in front of him. And he's just standing there, glowing red, just standing there, just standing there. And then eventually he wanders out the door, and an entire war breaks out in the bar. Everybody is fighting. Now Lydia is fighting. The dog is fighting. They're all attacking people. I'm like, all right, this is a mess. So I went back and reloaded. I'm like, this is a disaster. It's just an entire melee going on in this bar. And I'm like, all right. And eventually I got it to where I killed him somehow with the Blade of Woe and some poison and some other stuff. I used what I had in my bag of tricks there in my inventory and was able to do it. But that was a little messy. And that's kind of where I left off. I didn't hit the Dawn Star yet for that. I kind of left it there. And I do have, I think there's a continuation of the Dark Brotherhood story, a mod that I had installed. So I want to hop into that for next time. But man, it was such a different way of doing the Dark Brotherhood. It was so sloppy. It was just so sloppy. It was really fun. Like nothing like you would think the Dark Brotherhood would be, though. When I do it, it is so stealthy, and this was so sloppy. This was like, if I wore a giant neon sign that said, "I'm the Dark Brotherhood, I'm here to kill people," and, like blew a giant horn while I was walking down the street or something on a unicycle. It was just, there was no stealth involved. It was absurd. But, so that's been my playthrough, as a little tongue-tied here. But, in the Facebook group, if you don't know, we have a Facebook group. If you search Facebook for a Skyrim Addict podcast, I believe it's listed under a Skyrim Addict podcast and the Fallout feed. But if you go there, we talk Skyrim, we talk Fallout, we talk anything. Actually, Sherry was posting a little bit about Minecraft today. We were talking about that a little bit. But Michael on there was started a Gandalf character, so I have his feedback here for that. Whoops. Holy moly. I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. Let me pull it up here. Seriously, iTunes, you're going to open up for real.
Hi, my name is Michael. I'm a member of the Facebook group. I created a character named Gandalf and decided to kind of roleplay what he would go through, and created a lot of notes about it and decided to try to make a narrative based on those notes, and got a lot of Facebook feedback from the group to record it and send it in. So that's what I'm going to try to do. This is kind of just a short one. It's going to be mostly the beginning and a little bit of Helgen, and, well, let's just jump into it. Fly, you fools. The words echo through minds as my grasp on the ledge slips. My last view is of Aragorn grabbing Frodo, and then all my senses are lost. Falling, falling, falling. I see the Balrog and make to attack it when a falling piece of debris slams into my back and all is black. A jostle awakens me and I hear a foreign voice from in front of me. My mind is a blur and I ask him to repeat himself as his bearded and weathered face comes into view. He says his name is Ralof, and he begins speaking to the man on his left. It's at this moment my mind begins to slightly clear. I remember something important, a fight, a monster, a fall, a fellowship. Frodo, I must find Frodo. I move to get off the carriage and discover a startling fact. I'm a prisoner, my hands are bound, and I'm stuck on this cart with the rest of these people. As this begins to sink into my still muddled mind, I begin listening to the others chained on the cart with me. A man gagged beside me, a man across Ralof, and a man beside him, talking. Words such as Imperials, Stormcloaks, Helgen, and Riverwood give me the strong feeling that I'm no longer on Middle-earth. I don't even think this is in the same realm, much less the same country. One word sticks out above all the others, and the word seems to hold a power over me. It makes my heart skip a beat, and the hair on my arms and legs stand on end. Skyrim. Skyrim. That must be the name of this foreign land. I somehow just know it. I feel it in my bones. Soon we are stopping, and the bearded man Ralof implies this is not just a stop to water the horses. This is the end of the line. This is where they'll end us. They lead us out and line us up. A man named General Tullius marks us all for death. We, along with a gagged man beside me, are accused of treason and regicide, something about murdering a high king I've never heard of. He mentions a shout, and Ulfric Stormcloak, and a war against Skyrim. None of this makes sense. One prisoner tries to run, and they fill him full of arrows before he gets 20 feet. When they ask me my name, I mutter, Gandalf, and the fool thinks I said Gandalf. Whatever. It's not like everyone will call me the name this one man remembers. He calls me a native Imperial, and says he'll return my bones to Cyrodiil. Whatever. I guess Middle-earth is too far for them to send whatever is left after my execution. Unless a sudden thought occurs to me. Maybe I am dead. Maybe this is some sort of hell I've been doomed to for my failure to defeat Sauron and destroy the ring, for my failures with the Fellowship, with Frodo, for my failures, all my failures. My thoughts are cut short when a man is suddenly beheaded directly in front of me. I don't flinch, but I do let out a soft sigh for the life that was taken. One of them must have heard me, because next it's my name they are calling to the block. I walk forward slowly, doomed. I can feel it. This is not a dream. This is not death. This is real. This is all very real. They put me on my knees, lay my head on the block, and the man, as I look left, a man raises an axe. But before he can swing, a loud crash, and a dragon appears. This isn't a dragon like Smaug. This is something completely different. This is something I've never seen. I've never seen dragons like this. He shouts something and blows everyone back. Chaos ensues. People are running. People are scared. Everyone. Not just people that were being executed. Not just people doing the execution. But everyone. Everyone is terrified. Everyone is running. I follow Ralof and Ulfric into a keep. And there we gather our thoughts and our breaths. Ralof starts talking to Ulfric, but I don't understand what he's saying. I move for the staircase to my right. As soon as I get there, the wall implodes. Fire singes every part of my body. But I don't stop. The fire soon stops, and I make my way through the gaping hole in the castle, across to a barn where I run forward. Ralof, I think he's behind me, but I'm not sure anymore. I go forward and see a little girl and a man calling to her, telling her to get out of the way. I run towards her to try to help, but as soon as I get there, another blast of fire scorches the area around me. Luckily, the girl got out of the way. I can't worry about her now. I sprint forward and keep running. Blasts of flame bellow behind me. and I don't look back. As soon as I get clear, I see Rayloff ahead of me. I don't know how he got there, but he's calling for me to follow him. So I do. We enter a keep, and there we find the body of another dead Stormcloak soldier. Rayloff unties my hands and tells me to loot the body, grab the gear and the weapons. I feel fire at my fingertips and healing at the other side. He tells me Imperials are coming and we must kill them. I don't fancy taking a life, but this is war. I can already tell that, and I know what must be done. And I'll stop there for now. Got a lot more, as people from the Facebook group saw from my notes. If you like it, let me know on the Facebook group, and I'll continue writing the narrative and sending it in. Until then, in the words of Andrew, happy Skyriming.
Andrew stole that, but don't tell anyone. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. That was great. Little Gandalf play. I like it. I like it a lot. It's such the worlds are so similar. And gosh, who doesn't love the Tolkien world? I mean, I could watch the extended editions every day, all day. That's just me, though. I'm sure a lot of people out there are like that, though. But no, and anybody who does feedback, wants to do feedback like that, or, like Dave, obviously, that I'll be reading in a bit, or any kind of feedback, even if you want to talk about mods that you do, anything, or use, or however you play, definitely feel free to send it in. That's what this show is all about. It's just about sharing the experience in game and playing the game. We don't get real heavy on the news. Obviously, there's not a lot of news games been out 5 years. Let's not kid ourselves. We could always keep our fingers crossed for 6 to come out. But, ESO, Skyrim, Oblivion, any of them. It's Elder Scrolls platform in general. So always feel free to send anything like that in. That would definitely be awesome. I thought of something while I was playing. I came across a podcast this week, which is Skyrim Book Club. So if you go to skyrimbookclub.ca, that is their website, but you can search Skyrim Book Club on whatever podcatcher you have. There's a gentleman going through and doing audio versions of all the books in Skyrim. And that is absolutely fantastic. It looks like he started back in February, from what I can tell. But definitely a fun resource if you just want to kind of get lost in the game a little bit while you're at work or you're running or whatever. You just want to hear a book. They're not generally the books in Skyrim aren't super long, so they're not crazy long or anything. But it's just a nice way to delve into the world a little bit. A nice fan made thing that's just awesome. So definitely support that and give him some reviews and check out his show. And whoever may be involved in that, I think it was one person, from if I was not mistaken. But definitely check that out because it's pretty awesome. I really enjoyed it a lot, and just found it this week randomly. I don't even know what I was looking for, and I ended up finding it. Every once in a while, I search Skyrim on iTunes just to see if there's a new show that I can check out because I'll listen. But I've got an email here from Adrian, another new emailer, actually. Okay, so he says, actually, I don't know. Is she? I don't know. Adrian. Hello, gentlemen. This is basically a review of your podcast. I started playing Skyrim about 3 or 4 years ago on the PS3. I've played ESO since pre-release. I used to play a lot of other games, but since my twin daughters were born, 3 girls now, wow, I've not really wanted to spend any time anywhere other than Nern. All the Elder Scroll podcasts inspire me. That's awesome. So if you haven't heard the book club one, check that out. I started listening to Skyrim Addict a couple months ago, and I've enjoyed every episode. Thank you so much. No, thank you. That was me adding in, by the way. I just listened to episode 87, and I swear that Colin's voice sounds like a friend of mine, an English professor at a Japanese university. That would be amazing. Hopefully your friend has a better disposition. I believe Victor and Colin will be doing the show next week, by the way. And has anyone ever told you that Michael's voice and manner of speaking sound quite like the late Philip Seymour Hoffman? I will take that as a huge compliment. He was fantastic. Anyway, I had one question. At the beginning of your podcast, you have ask people to share their stories. If fans of the show were to write stuff in, short tales, characters, and like, would it be considered for the air? It would not only be considered, it would be put on the air. Well, thanks again, and feel free to read any or part of this. But okay, I'm going back to play this Conjurer. I'm totally enjoying the bound swords, dual wield, and bound bow. Can't conjure up an army yet, but my conjuring is 10 points strong in the constellations. Have a good one. So, and that's at Mana69, MANA 69. So I love the bound bow, as if you've listened to the show for a while. Bound bow, my favorite weapon of all time. Great way to up your conjuring. Great way to up your archery. Doesn't run out of ammo. You don't have to carry arrows or make anything. Very powerful early in the game. If you can risk your life and get into forward aim all and get that the hell out of that bucket, it is a great, great thing to get. I fully endorse the bound bow. One of my favorite tools in the game by far. But as for feedback, yes, send it in, definitely. Whether you record it or send text-based, go for it, definitely. That's what this is all about, honestly. I don't know, because I don't know who. I don't have some metrics like who's listening, who's not listening. I mean, that's basically where everybody else who's joined the show has come from. They've emailed in or they've, in some way. And that's how things grow and communities grow and things like that. So definitely do that. Or, I'm always on Twitter. I always have that going with Skyrim Addict on Twitter. And I think the Fallout feed on there as well. Or in our Facebook group is where we have, more general group discussions about stuff. But, if you're not on Facebook, I understand that completely. But yeah, always hit up on Twitter. I always answer. And also email. I generally answer email. I don't get that much to not be able to answer it. Sometimes it takes me a little time because I get busy at work or whatever, or life in general. But I do tend to answer it. So yes, definitely don't feel like you should be wary about sending anything in. Just send it on in. Unless it's could be over the top. No, I'm just kidding. But just send it in. So I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah, no, I have not gotten my Oblivion setup going yet. I definitely want to get that together. And I've been cleaning the basement, so I'm getting there. It's probably going to take me a month. I just, this time of year, I'm in the U.S., obviously. It's nice weather, so it's like, I got to get outside and do stuff. So, it's going to probably take me a little longer than if it were in the middle of winter and it was completely shitty. Although this winter, it wasn't really shitty the whole winter. So, that kind of probably set me back some too. But definitely bringing the 360 down here and doing some streaming and stuff of Oblivion and Morrowind. And I'm sure Morrowind will be a disaster for me. But so we have a little update. I think there's one from last week from Dave that I had saved. But he's looking forward to, speaking of Oblivion, to the Oblivion playthrough. And he's giving himself some mods versus Requiem grief by adding more mods. So he's piling on the mods and hopefully not having too many issues. He's now stopped pitching about and gone back a couple of saves and stayed with the mods indicated in the save file, which I know work. That's good. Still enjoying the playthrough. Mages are really hard work without followers early on. That is a definite. And he's doing lots of running and dying. He's also toying with the idea of trying a female Breton sellsword who has been attacked and left for dead. Never played a mage-like character in heavy armor before. That would be interesting. Yeah, that would be fun. I haven't done that much either. Requiem really punishes mages who wear heavy armor. I've always just presumed it's because iron and magic don't really mix. It's a good, could be an alchemic thing. Iron and steel, to a lesser extent, upsets the magic fluxes coursing through the mage's body or something. That's a good idea. Kind of like electricity. Mind you, I could be talking complete bollocks, of course. I can't find any Elder Scrolls lore to back this up in any way, shape, or form. Happy to be told one way or the other, but it won't change my storyline. I'm working on which it needs to be that way. Yeah, I'm might not even be in the lore, but it could be because you don't see a lot of mages in the Elder Scrolls wearing too much heavy armor. So this one is a ghost story, an extract from the Journals of MacBeta Blackstone. The Vilmir Inn was very pleasant, and Wilhelm, Wilhelm, I moved him to Windhelm. That's not good. The Vilmir Inn was very pleasant, and Wilhelm, the host, was quite a friendly soul and a good storyteller. He should try to be a bard, I told him. He certainly worries the resident bard with his tales. She seems afraid to go out at night. He told a tale of the spirit of the Shroudhearth Barrow, an ancient Nord crypt just outside of town. The spirit just haunts the crypt and never comes near the village. He says he has seen the spirit himself and complains it's keeping visitors away, and he's sure he's losing business. I was tempted to tell him that if he hadn't mentioned the spirit, we would have been none the wiser. He also told me about a treasure hunter who had gone into the crypt and of the screams that had been heard and the fact that the man never came out. The treasure hunter, Windowless Gatharian, was never seen nor heard of again. Yendigo and I started our evening meal with a couple of drinks when Lindley the bard came into the inn saying to Wilhelm that she had just seen the spirit of the barrow. Well, this sounded much more interesting than the story, so me and my feline friends decided to investigate, protecting a fair maiden in distress. Oops, sorry, I had to pull something up there. We entered the barrow and went down a narrow corridor into a room with a couple of Draugr standing in niches. Yendigo did not like Draugr. He tended to be nervous around them, and it showed. He had an ebony sword, which didn't cut them or damage them in any way if they were mobile. This was bad news as far as he was concerned. Arrows of any kind, except possibly silver, made no impression on them either. Silver weapons or fire in any form was the thing to use against Draugr. I could provide the fire, and I handed Indigo my last 8 silver arrows. Just then we heard a moaning voice telling us leave this place. I never yet met a talking spirit in all my travels that I remember. Mind you, my memory isn't that great, to be honest. I just didn't think I had met one here either. A spectral figure was glimpsed behind the portcullis gate-like doorway, and then it disappeared. Well, that's a first. A ghost that can't pass through a door? Must be all that iron. Magic really hates iron up close. The one reason I carry a silver and ebony knife. The other is that the silver blade kills undead and Daedra and witches fairly quickly. I do admit that I always tend to use poisoned iron arrows on witches. It really messes with their spellcasting, something which I like to do. I don't know why, I just do. I really don't like witches. One of these days I'm going to be able to afford a silver katana. Reach and everlasting sharpness in a single blade for my main hand, and hot flames from the other to burn them all away into oblivion. Sounds like the perfect match made in the heavens. I found levers to open the gateway fairly readily, and we moved through into another chamber. No ghosts, no noise, no moans, just brooding silence. A door with a trapped lock was the first challenge. I'm reasonably proficient, and I had it open in no time. No lockpicks were damaged nor broken in the opening of this door. A trap trigger was just visible slightly beyond the door. I stepped back and fired up Boney over the trigger, and a spiked trap erupted from the wall just beyond where Boney was, actually standing. Clever trap, one step beyond, and you were seriously dead. What a lucky skeleton warrior he was. It missed him completely. I waited, and he soon collapsed into himself, and then I jumped over the trap and into the room, to the chest at the back. Yendigo came up behind me and whispered, "That was impressive, my friend. You really are getting the hang of finding traps. Almost as good as me, yes? By the way, your ghost is looking at us again and is opening the gate behind you." I turned as a spectre-like figure cursed and said, "Die," just as Yendigo very nearly sliced his head off with the ebony sword. The spectre man hadn't been able to get past Drogo, who was lying in his favorite position in front of the door. That ebony sword of Yendigo's is really very sharp, and the man was obviously no spirit because he had just died from a non-silver weapon. We went through the door, and he had come out and eventually came to the chamber where he had obviously been living. God, there was even an alchemy table in here as well as a bedroll and a table and chair. A home from home, even if it didn't smell a bit unwashed, just like the body I had looted. I found the journal of one Wendellus Gatharian. This started off by describing a serious quest for a key to allow him to push deeper into the crypt. Then it started to get weirder and eventually turned into the ravings of a madman who thought he was back in the First Era. I reflected that this could have been me if Yendigo hadn't been around when I disappeared in Cyrodiil. It still weighs on my mind a lot. Nothing much else was found, just a couple of books, a knife, and a potion of some sort. We headed back the way we came. I spotted another trapdoor, but decided we solved the problem of the ghost and moved on and up and out of the barrow. Back at the inn, Wilhelm was amazed what we found. After we had read the journal, he gave me a sapphire claw as a reward. He had found it years ago in the crypt, and he told me, but had never said anything about it to anybody else. "Saving it for a rainy day," he said with a friendly smile. We even got a free ale with our meal, which he had kept warm for us. Yendigo and I chatted queerly about the sapphire claw and that other trap door, but we decided to leave well enough alone for the time being. "Take the profit and run, my friend," he said quietly. "We can always come back another time, yes?" We enjoyed the rest of our evening meal, had a slow wander around the village, and then back to the inn for another quiet ale, or maybe it was two. It naturally had to be consumed with a sweet roll for my blue furry friend. Drogo just lay there, licking the marrow out of what looked like to be a fairly large deer thigh bone. Then off to our respective beds for some well-earned sleep. Whoops. And I just clicked on something. That was the latest. Not the latest, but that was one from Dave there. And then he sent me one where he received a message from Drogo about a cat not wanting dogs around, which was pretty funny, actually. As a cat lover, I enjoyed it thoroughly. So David sent the video last week that I'd watched, and I mentioned that it was slow, but to me, that's like what I love about this game is that you can play it so many different ways. Like, you can just immerse yourself in the world and just take your time and just go everywhere and see everything. And that's like an amazing way to play. You don't have, it's not about leveling. It's about whatever you want it to be. And I think that's why it just works so well for so many people. So, that's why I loved seeing it. It's such an incredibly different play style. Yeah, sometimes I fall into the fast travel trap, like if I want to get through a storyline or whatever. But I feel like I miss a lot when I do that because I'm just not taking my time. But, when I have more time, I definitely do like to walk and take my time. But when I'm shorter, I tend to hop into that fast travel mode and kind of blow through things. And I think I need to just go a little slower and enjoy each quest line as opposed to doing a bunch of quest lines. So I think that's how I'm going to kind of slow down a bit. I'll still use fast travel because there's times, like in Dark Brotherhood quest, you got to go back and forth to Solitude a couple times. And that can be a tedious journey from south to north. But, you should do it at least once or twice just to get through there, So he's wandering along nicely, and he said, I noticed that I thought the playstyle was a bit slow. That's just the way he's always played. He played World of Warcraft, and it took him 3 years to get to level 60. My son used to get really pissed off, but hey, I enjoyed the game at my pace. That's perfect. That's the way you do it. You do it how you enjoy it. That's all that really matters. I find it relaxing, except when the damn game crashes for no reason. Then I just go into investigative mode. Oh, this should be good. This is the bare necessities. So Yendigo and I were enjoying a quiet ale in the Vilmere Inn when the door was flung open and the windmill owner strode in, and she looked really pissed off. Temba Widearms is a Nord woman, and how should I put this? She has a short fuse on her temper where bears are concerned. She also has a litany of woes, like her business is failing, her apprentice never listens to her, and there are rumors of dragons to top it all. I looked at her and thought, this woman is cracking up. Dragons haven't been seen in bloody decades, maybe even centuries. The buggers were all killed off by the blades back in the day when there were blades. God, how did I know that? Somebody told me that, but I just don't remember who told me. Anyway, Temba really hates the bears most of all. She has convinced herself that the bears are deliberately scratching trees to spite her. Let's be honest, they were just doing a bear thing. Nothing personal in it that I can see. There are a lot of bears around here, to be honest. They keep cropping up in odd places. A pair of local hunters went missing recently. They'd been after a bear, too, I heard. Bears are valuable animals. Good fur, good meat, and offal, and the alchemy ingredients are to die for. Maybe sometimes literally, but bloody dangerous, too. Yendigo did a bit of scouting around and identified at least 2 caves that he thought were possible dens for the local bears. Now bear hunting is a dangerous pastime, as I said. I approached Temba to see what kind of reward, if any, she was offering. By Sithis, she wanted at least 10 pelts, but for that she was prepared to pay good gold. God, she really wanted her revenge on these animals. I almost felt sorry for the beasts until Yendigo came back with the news that he had found the hunters. At least what he thought was left of the hunters. Remains were just lying outside of a cave south of the village. A cave bear was seen to be in the vicinity of the cave entrance, he reported. Then he said very quietly, "The bear is a very large male and powerful looking, my friend. We need to be cautious when we tackle it. Yes?" That bloody Khajiit is going to be the death of me with his enthusiasm for hunting. He enjoys it because it's a bloody game to him. Drogo is the same. I reckon it must be a cat thing. We headed out towards Pine Peak Cavern, just north of the village, on the west side of the river. We crossed the bridge and immediately spotted the bear. It was huge. "Stealth attack with bows to begin," I whispered. We readied ourselves and moved forward slowly. The bear raised itself on its hind legs and sniffed in the air, growling. Yendigo and I released our 4 arrows, and then Drogo shot forward, distracting the bear. This gave us time to get a second and third pair of arrows into the air. I now fired up my skeleton warrior, and it lumbered forward, and we charged up to the bear, which was looking a bit confused. Where had all these opponents come from? It probably thought. I used my bound sword and goblin staff of flames to tackle the beast from behind. Drogo suddenly made the killing blow at the back of the neck, and it was all over. Yendigo's training of Drogo had worked after a fashion. He had waited until we started before his usual rushing in. After that, the training just went to oblivion as he just did his normal Drogo thing. Attack, attack, attack. Bloody Cat is going to get himself killed in that way. We eased into the cave and crept silently along the passage. I could just make out the shape lying on the edge in the back of a cave. "Only one," whispered Yendigo. I nodded and readied my bow, then realized I was getting low on bone arrows. I needed to make some more, but not now, I thought. Strange how things pop into your head when you least expect it. At least that happens to me. We killed the last bear without problems. I think it was sleeping when we attacked, and it never stood a chance. I came across a book called Heavy Armor Forging, but that's no good to me. I can't smith anything worth a damn. An unlocked chest revealed bugger all apart from a healing potion. After skinning the bears, we headed back to the village to let the guards know about the hunters, and then to the inn for a meal, a drink or two, and then bed. another successful day with potential profits if we get more pelts. So there we go. So that was one of the latest from Dave. I do have one more here. Actually, he mentioned something about what Victor mentioned. Ooh, my mouth is dry. So I remembered Victor talking a while back about a mod that allows you to switch off animal aggressive behavior. I need to try and get something like that for this playthrough because I'm being constantly attacked by wolf packs everywhere. I really don't think wolves are like that in real life. They may attack if threatened, but they will tend to keep away. Mind you, a lot of this could be starving and desperate for food. So, Victor, if I will pass on to Victor if he doesn't happen to hear this. If you remember the mod that adjusts the animal aggression, that'll be, and you happen to do a show next week, that'd be awesome. So, bloody wolves, soldiers, and bears. Early next morning, refreshed after a good night's sleep, I had a hearty breakfast, bread and cheese with some green tea to wash it down. And then to be told there were no more sweet rolls. Indigo had scoffed a lot. He had eaten them out of sweet rolls. He was getting some dark looks from the locals. They liked them too, it seems. He just smiled his toothy smile and continued eating the last sweet roll he had taken from his pouch. He could be a very cruel cat in some ways. I left and went outside to forage for some bone material and to make perfect bone arrows. A few discarded antlers and a couple of large bones from an elk and a deer, and I'm ready to sit down and create bits of bone for the arrowheads. Indigo brought me some firewood, and a couple of hours' work later I had 50 new arrows fit for hunting anything. It was still morning, and we were about to head out to scout our next target. I gathered up my gear from my room and was stopped by a noisy conversation before I reached the door. A couple of hunters were complaining loudly about the lack of wild game. The civil war in this area has either driven the game away or killed it for all its provisions, they said. Their livelihood was being threatened and they didn't like it. Been hunting and fishing in these parts for years and no bother to nobody, they said loudly and often between drinks. A small pack of wolves were said to be killing off local goats just outside the village, so we went off to see what could be done. Damn it, now the local wolves were being a pest. They are becoming more dangerous the less food there is in the area. It turned out it wasn't the bloody wolves. It was two bloody Stormcloak soldiers foraging and found the goats easy pickings for them. We chased them off with the help of the guards and helped the locals herd their goats back into the village. The villagers corralled the goats in the area besides the windmill. They will stay there until those damn soldiers are gone and away. This may be sooner than they thought, I noted on my way to Honeystrand Cave. A lot of Imperial soldiers were to be seen heading up the road towards Helgen. There was even what looked like a general with them, and they tend to want to win in earnest. Despite your lack of sweet rolls, I think we should stay here another couple days and let them get out of the way, I said to Drogo. He just nodded soberly. We still had plenty of daylight left to try our luck with Honeystrand. We were told the cave was popular with the local bear population because of the wild beehives around the cave entrance. I suppose to bears, it's a bit like having a local inn near their house. As we approached, we could see one bear trying to get the bees' nest for its sugar fix. Just you stay distracted, I thought to myself as we crept closer. We had separated to allow us the opportunity to confuse and left Drogo between us, waiting patiently, I had hoped. Bows ready, aimed, and fired, followed quickly by two more pairs of arrows. Drogo hadn't even reached the damn bear when it just fell. Up to the cave, and we entered very quietly. 2, maybe 3 in here, Indigo whispered softly. Go for the one farthest away, and hopefully Drogo will go for the closest, I whispered back. He nodded and readied his bow. Suddenly, the one closest to us reared up, and Drogo took off like an arrow. We fired our bows once, twice, thrice, and one bear down. 4, 5, 6, and we were in a bear-free zone. God, we were getting good at this. Those rings of muffle I had made were really good in situations like this, I thought to myself. I wish I could remember who taught me to make magic rings from small animal bone. Mind you, I wish I could remember a lot of things. It was like earlier today, I suddenly remembered how to cast my Skeleton Mage spell. It's a pretty useless spell, mind you, but at least I remembered. I think my Skeleton Warrior spell is better. He has a bit more bite in him. I just wish that spell would last longer. The cave was a bit of an eye-opener to me. There was a dead bandit holding a copy of the locked room inside, an unlocked chest, which I assume was the bandit's before the bears killed him. Why did this stupid bugger pick that cave? Didn't he know about the bears? Probably not. Lots of fungi for ingredients to be picked. God, there was even a dead goat along with lots of bones of humans and animals. We just skinned and butchered the bears and got the hell out of there, picking up the fungi on the way. The smell was pretty dreadful. Happy to be out in the fresh air again, headed back up to the Velmere Inn. We still don't have enough bloody pelts, but I decided against my better judgment not to hang out about here any longer. One more night at the inn, then we have to move on. I like hunting, but our slaughter of the bears was getting to me. I dumped the 5 pelts at the mill with a note telling Temba that there were no more bears in the area, and that was the best we could do. I really smelled of dead animals, and we went to wash in the river behind the inn, much to the amusement of the local guards. The guards just passed rude remarks, especially the females for some reason. Yendigo, I'd shouted, you will make yourself ill, my friend. Even Drogo agrees with me. The bathing water is unhealthy for you. We could know all about that, yes. I remembered that cats really hated getting wet and just laughed and splashed water at them, making the pair jump back. I dried myself, dressed quickly, and then on to supper, drinks, and bed. Gods, I was tired for some reason, and I had a splitting headache. So that was the latest from Dave, and we heard from Adrian and Michael as well. So if you have any feedback, you can send that to Skyrim Addict Podcast at gmail.com. Audio, text, whatever. And we will read it on the era. So until next time, when I probably won't be here. So we'll see what happens. Till next time, take it easy, everyone. If you have a moment, leave a review for the show. And check out, I did a game talk this week with Jeremy and Talon. And we did talk actually a lot of Elder Scrolls kind of stuff. So if you search ASA Game Talk as all one word in iTunes, you'll be able to find it. If not, go to asapodcasting.com, and there'll be links there for all the different shows, and that one. It was episode 4 where Talon hopped on with us, and hope to have him on here as well. He's a huge, huge Elder Scrolls fan, so I'm looking forward to that. So until next time, everyone, later. Thanks for listening to this episode of A Skyrim Addict. You can find all of our contact information, YouTube channel information, as well as other shows over at asapodcasting.com, including our newest show, The Fallout Feed. Special thanks to Claire Lafar for the show's artwork. You can find her stuff at etsy.com/MayaFirePrints, MayaFirePrints. And a thank you to Dan Bull for the use of his music in the roundtable open and close. You can find him on YouTube or iTunes. Just search Dan Bull. Once again, thanks for listening, and later, everyone.